Interior, Temple of Mortis, night. Kylo Ren's long shadow precedes him into the cavern of stone. Statues of the ancients look down into the deep void in the center, sealed with a slab of unpolished marble. Kylo reaches out. The stone slab slides off and falls to the ground with a thud. He looks down into the well, beneath the temple, deep into the heart of Mortis, eager for his reward. It's empty. Nothing. A hole in the ground.
No. No!
Kylo searches the rune-covered walls looking for answers. He finds only arcane sculpted faces looking down at him. He fires his saber and slashes at the statues, scarring the ancients with his rage.
You've lost, Ben.
Luke Skywalker steps into the light. A thin blue glow traces his form.
You're dead. The Jedi are ghosts.
The dark side has failed you. Like it failed my father.
Your father was weak.
His love for his family saved him. I wish it could save you.
Luke looks deep into his former student's pained eyes.
I did what I had to do.
You chose hate.
I chose power.
Kylo fires his saber and attacks, but Luke catches the blade with his gloved hand, stopping it in mid-air, stronger than Kylo could possibly imagine.
I'll be stronger than any Skywalker has ever been.
Their faces are inches away, separated by the red blade.
You are no Skywalker.
Exterior, Temple Mount, night. Rey lies motionless on the stone steps, blind and bleeding in the rain. Then her hand moves. Her eyes flutter open.
Luke.
Interior, Temple of Mortis, night. Luke's expression changes. He senses her.
Let go, Kylo. You can't defeat us.
Us?
I am not alone. Obi-Wan was right.
Exterior, Temple Mount, night. Rey drags her shattered body up the temple steps. Her arm gives out. She collapses. The pain is too much.
We're connected. All living things.
Interior, Eclipse Destroyer, bridge, space. Leia looks beyond the battle. She feels Rey's pain.
Rey.
The Force surrounds us.
Interior, Capital Navigation Subspace, day. Rose winces from a spark as she rewires the hyperdrive on the Capital. Her fingertips are bleeding. She looks up. A feeling.
It penetrates us.
Interior, Millennium Falcon, night. Poe flies through a barrage of laser fire.
It binds the galaxy together.
He feels the connection from across the galaxy.
Rey.
Exterior, Temple Mount, night. Rey into the rain.
Oh.
She grows stronger.
Finn.
Exterior, Coruscant, Imperial Boulevard, sunset. Finn is crouched low behind cover, lasers flying overhead.
We are one. Bound by the Force.
Finn feels the connection and a surge of hope.
Fight, Rey. Fight.
Exterior, Temple Mount, night. Rey hears him. He's there with her. They all are.
Fight.
Interior, Temple of Mortis, night. Luke gives his former student a faint smile.
And we will not be broken.
Exterior, Temple Mount, night. With all her strength, the last Jedi rises. She unwraps a strip of cloth from the bandage on her hand. She uses it to blindfold her eyes. Interior, Temple of Mortis, night. Luke vanishes. Beyond him, Rey stands tall in the arched doorway, blind, bruised, determined.
Our masters were wrong. I will not deny my anger, and I will not reject my love.
Her fallen lightsaber flies into her hands.
I am the darkness, and I am the light.
You are nothing. You are no one.
She ignites the blades. They crackle.
No one is no one.
Kylo charges. Their blades meet and sizzle. Rey fights him blindfolded, guided by the Force. Interior, Eclipse Destroyer, space. Burning Resistance cruisers plummet to landfall. Leia watches the fiery carnage out her observation window. It's over.
More ships arriving from the Outer Rim, General.
Prepare to retreat.
These aren't First Order ships.
Leia looks out at the starfield ahead. Off her surprise, 1,000 ships appear from hyperspace. A massive fleet of smugglers and thieves flying tricked-out, junkyard-bound personal cruisers. The pirates Han Solo spent half his life running from. In the lead is Lando's personal starship, the Lady Luck. Interior, Lady Luck, space. Lando Calrissian helms the controls.
Thought you could use a few scoundrels.
Nye Nyland, an aging alien in a vintage bomber jacket, shakes his head in the co-pilot's chair.
Yeah, one.
I'm too old for this shit. Lando's ragtag fleet attacks, covering for the larger battleships as they lay waste to the enemy. Exterior, Coruscant, Imperial Boulevard, day. A burning TIE Hunter crashes into the army of brute troopers and tanks in the square. Finn looks up. A battalion of ships he's never seen before joins the firefight in the sky.
What? Yeah!
He raises his rifle in the air, yelling to all who can hear.
Chewie, we've got company!
Exterior, Capital Base, Terminal, day. BB-8 reaches the Capital Base and plugs into the terminal. Interior, First Order Capital, Control Subspace, day. Rose receives the feed on her hacked CPU tower. The panel lights up with a flood of key codes.
Attaboy.
Interior, Eclipse, Bridge, Space. The First Order fleet takes a beating.
First Order forces are in retreat. Send more ships to the capital.
Leia smiles as relief washes over her. She speaks into her comm.
Poe, get down there.
Interior, Millennium Falcon, Space. Poe steers the Falcon into a deep descent straight down.
Copy that.
The Falcon starts one long descent from space into the city. Poe takes out TIE Hunters as he goes, firing the Falcon's forward cannons until they jam dry. The ship dives into the canyon of buildings, leveling out on a trajectory toward the legion of AT-MTs on the boulevard. The Falcon buzzes over the heads of Poe and Chewbacca and crashes through the legs of the walkers, cutting the mechanical beasts off at the knees, toppling them all as it sparks out into Monument Square. The ship grinds to a stop at the base of the Capitol. The accumulated pile of broken walkers and crashed ship creates a barricade on the front steps. Interior, First Order Capital, day. Alarms blare. Commanding officers frantically prepare for departure. Hux eyes the crashed Falcon in the square below.
Bomb the city! Decimate every last being!
Our forces are outnumbered, sir.
Hux realizes the tragic truth. He's lost the Star Wars. Interior, Chancellor Hux's chamber, day. Hux storms into his celestial chamber. He goes to the collector's case, removes one of his prized vintage lightsabers. He activates it and impales himself with the purple blade. Hux kneels, the glowing saber protruding from his chest as the First Order ships descend in smoke and fire out the window. Interior, Temple of Mortis, night. Kylo counters Rey's every move. They are evenly matched, two sides of a coin, flame and shadow, fighting to the death. A vicious swing and Kylo's lightsaber shatters at the hilt, destroyed along with several fingers on his left hand, cut across the palm. He looks at it with disbelief, stumbles back toward the empty well of Mortis, and falls to one knee. Rey stands over him, anger flowing. She separates her dual lightsaber. She holds one blade pointed to Kylo's chest. Kylo is stunned by the powerful being before him. She's almost glowing. Unfathomable living force within. Kylo clenches his teeth, eyes furious. A rage like we haven't seen since Anakin Skywalker. He reaches out the open palm of his good hand and begins to extract the living force from Rey as Tor Valum taught him. She rises, energy flowing from her body into Kylo's hand as the life drains from her. She pulls her blindfold off and screams to the sky. Kylo stands tall, energized. His face has returned to normal, healed. He pulls the iron plates off his skin. They fall away, healthy flesh revealed underneath. He looks beyond Rey to the empty well of Mortis.
They were wrong. All of them. The power of this place can't be taken.
Ben.
But it's nothing compared to you.
Kylo takes more from her. Rey is almost gone, drained of life. She summons all her strength and reaches out. With the last of herself, she offers him her hand.
Ben. Please.
Interior, Eclipse Destroyer, bridge, space. Leia feels the disturbance. It pains her. Into the vastness of space, she says her son's name.
Ben.
Interior, Temple of Mortis, night. Kylo hears his mother's voice, carried by the Force.
Ben.
He stops, listening to her, feeling her close.
Ben, come back. Come home.
Something happens to Kylo when he hears his mother's voice. Interior, Eclipse Destroyer, bridge, space. Leia speaks to her son through the Force.
Help us.
Interior, Temple of Mortis, night. Kylo feels the very thing that destroyed Anakin Skywalker. But it doesn't make him feel weak. He looks at Rey's outstretched hand and takes it. The living Force flows back into her. Both light and dark swirl within Rey as Kylo is reduced to an empty shell, a man without power, a frightened boy. Kylo and Rey collapse into one another, each propping the other up on their knees. Rey is close now, their foreheads touching. He is weakened, spent in the last moments of his life.
Solana.
Rey is stunned to hear her name, distant like a memory.
Your name. Rey Solana.
Those words are Ben Solo's last. Rey watches the light dim in his eyes. But it is the light.
Goodbye, Ben.
With a look that could be perceived as love, Ben Solo dies. Rey releases her hold, collapses, barely alive herself. They have fought to the death. Exterior, Capitol steps, sunset. Finn appears through smoke, blood-stained, dirty, a hero. Rafe and the other renegade stormtroopers behind him. Poe climbs out of the Falcon's cockpit. Chewie helps him. Poe regards his old friend, amazed at his transformation. He spots a fallen resistance flag on the ground. He picks it up and hands it to Finn. Finn takes the flag, climbs up the angled bow of the crashed Midnight Oiler to the top of the barricade of the ships. Poe and Chewbacca scale it with him. Finn waves the flag for all to see. The ground shakes. They look up as the First Order Capital leaves its moorings.
Everybody get back!
A thunderous boom as the Capital rises into the sky.
Rose is still in there.
Finn spots BB-8 rolling toward them from the quaking base.
BB-8, where is she?
Interior, First Order Capital, escape pod bays. Day. Rose races through the quaking Capital. She checks a map she's drawn on her hand and rounds a corner toward a bay of escape pods. She climbs into one, shuts the door. It launches as the Capital rises. It's a short trip before it crash lands onto the battlefield. Interior, First Order Capital, Command Deck, Day. Commander Selleck looks down at the shrinking metropolis below. The massive structure casts a shadow over the city.
Ready for lightspeed.
Exterior, First Order Capital, Day. Finn rushes to Rose's crashed escape pod.
Rose!
Touches her face.
Are you okay?
She touches his hand affectionately.
I'm fine.
She looks up at the rising Capital, backlit against the setting sun. Poe, Chewie, BB-8, and C-3PO follow her eyes.
They're getting away.
Did you disable the hyperdrive?
I couldn't figure it out.
Hope falls away. The war is lost.
So I made some adjustments to their Nava computer. Without precise calculations, that thing could...
The Capital jumps to light speed. The moment it vanishes. Boom. The Capital ship collides with a distant planet. The impact is so massive, so galaxy-shaking, it's visible for light years.
Fly right into a star.
Interior, Eclipse, Destroyer, Space. Leia shields her eyes as the enormous explosion in deep space pulsates into the starry twilight. It's a beacon of hope. Radio comms instantly crackle to life. A cacophony of voices filled the frequency waves, calling on their brethren to fight. Exterior, Monument Square, Day. Finn, Poe, Rose, Chewie, and the droids all look up. Awed, inspired, but they can't celebrate. Not yet. Poe looks at Finn. It speaks volumes.
You feel it too.
Poe nods, affirming their connection. Rey is gone. Interior, Temple of Mortis, night. Rey lies flat on the stone. Silence. Light fills the space around her. Particles of energy floating up. She rises with them. The light engulfs the frame until we reach a place beyond what we know. The astral plane. Glimmers of energy flicker like fireflies in the darkness. Rey opens her eyes. Clear again. Unburdened. 3 of the distant glimmers grow larger than the others. She moves toward them. It's Yoda, Luke Skywalker, and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Is this death?
In this place, there is no such thing as death.
I can see.
Your true self is free of suffering, free of pain.
Taught us much, you have.
I've taught you.
Succeeded where we have failed. Narrow was our point of view.
You chose to embrace the dark side and the light, to find balance within.
Coexist, they must. As such, feelings do in all of us.
But if I'm here, with you...
A choice you must make. To return, or to remain.
Here, there is serenity, knowledge, peace. Those lost, but not forgotten.
She looks beyond them at the shimmering flecks of energy.
And there?
There, you will face a galaxy in turmoil. Pain, suffering, and the loss of those you love.
But living you will be. Love you shall.
We hold on Rey's face as she considers the life she's yet to live and makes her decision.
Thank you.
The spirits fade into the cosmic force. As the light overwhelms us, Obi-Wan Kenobi's voice echoes.
You are a Jedi, Rey Solana. But you will not be the last.
Exterior, Coruscant, day. A resistance flag rises from the rubble at the site of the old capital. Thousands of citizens fill the square. Free. Interior, ceremonial hall, day. Heroes at attention. Leia Skywalker Organa in elegant white, Lando Calrissian and her top generals around her. Finn, Rose, Poe, and Chewie stand before Leia. She places medals of honor around each of their necks. BB-8 beeps excitedly at their feet. After 40 years of service, Chewie gets a medal he can keep. Exterior, landing platforms, sunset. Leia looks down at the blue beacon bracelet once used to guide Rey back to safety, clenched tightly in her hand. Finn and Rose stand by her side.
I can't feel her presence.
Finn bows his head. Neither can he.
But there's a calm I've never felt. Balance.
That's her.
Leia smiles. BB-8 rolls up and beeps to Rose and Finn.
Come on, we have work to do.
Leia approaches Poe and Chewbacca, also on their way. She places the beacon bracelet in Poe's hand.
I'll never stop looking.
Chewbacca gives her a giant Wookiee hug.
Okay. Easy.
Finn approaches Poe holding something under his arm.
Let me know what you find.
I will.
Finn hands Poe his old leather jacket.
For good luck.
Poe smiles. He takes it, hugs Finn. Chewbacca growls. We follow Poe and Chewie to the Millennium Falcon, rebuilt to look better than it has in decades. Interior, Millennium Falcon, space. Poe flips switches in the cockpit.
Ready, Chewie?
He takes Rey's beacon and hangs it, replacing Han's dice. Interior, Leia's quarters, night. Leia watches from her window as the Millennium Falcon jets off into the starfield. The Phantom Hawk rockets the other way into empty space. Leia checks on R2-D2, still under construction. A repair droid works on rebuilding his destroyed frame.
How's he coming along?
A quick cycle through his memory banks and he'll be back to his old self again. I hope.
He'll be fine, 3PO.
I can't imagine what I'd do without him. I know he's stubborn, but I
I know.
Leia picks up R2-D2's intact memory drive, rescued by BB-8. She inserts it in R2-D2, reminiscent of the first time we saw the princess with a droid. R2-D2 beeps to life. As his files catalog into chronological order, he projects the contents of his memory bank, and we witness their adventures over all the years, all from this droid's perspective, meeting the shell of C-3PO on Tatooine, flying with Anakin in many space battles, Obi-Wan giving Luke his father's lightsaber, flying through the Death Star trench, Yoda lifting the X-Wing from the swamp, Luke saluting from the plank on Jabba's barge, Leia and Han outside the bunker on Endor. Leia is taken back by the flood of memories. It's cathartic for her, and for us.
Thank you, R2.
Leia leaves them alone, together. R2 beeps affectionately. Exterior, Leia's balcony, night. Leia steps outside, looks up at a field of stars. She looks up at the vastness of space. A star falls. She feels something new. Peace. Exterior, Modesta, day. A serene, sun-dappled ranch surrounded by rolling green fields of tall grass. Smoke curls from the chimney. Interior, homestead, day. Finn sits with a circle of young children, 6 to 11, in a sun-drenched cabin. A fire crackles as he finishes a story.
And the light could be seen all over the galaxy, in every system. Rey gave us all hope.
A little girl, 7, looks confused.
But how do you know she's really gone?
I don't think she's gone. I believe.
Finn eyes Rose, seated at a wood table, parts of a droid's motivator spread out in front of her. She smiles.
I believe someday she'll come back. And when she does, we'll be here waiting. All of us.
The children smile, relieved. They like that ending.
Go on, get outside.
The kids leap up and run out into the daylight. Finn rises with them and follows the last one out. Exterior, Modesta, day. The children race about the pasture. Dade is among them. So is the broom boy from Canto Bight. They race around a Nerf foal, trying to hook a ring around its tiny horns. BB-8 races with them. The little girl hooks it. The ring flies back through the air into her hand. These children are force-sensitive. Finn and Rose have built a refuge for force-sensitive youth to live the life they never had. Finn steps out onto the front porch. He leans against a post. The twin sunset washes his face. Something in that sunset changes his wistful expression. Unclear at first, it soon becomes a realization there's a tremor in the Force. Interior, Millennium Falcon, deep space. Poe and Chewie in the Falcon at light speed. The beacon, hanging from the dash, suddenly begins to glow. Chewie roars.
Chewie, turn the ship around. I know, just turn around.
Exterior, Modesta, day. Finn notices a glimmer of light in the distance. He steps forward to get a closer look. Rose joins him, shielding her eyes from the sun. A figure blurs on the horizon. It's a familiar silhouette. Dirty, ragged, walking for a long time. BB-8 rolls forward. The kids hear the droid, stop their game, look to the fields beyond. On the horizon, it's Rey Solana. Her eyes are restored. Only a faint scar runs across her forehead. The kids run toward her, joined by BB-8, who is faster. Rey walks on toward the homestead. Here she will train a new generation of Jedi and pass down what she has learned, that only an understanding of the balance within the Force can lead to peace and justice in the galaxy.
Duel of the Fates.
To podcasts and such.